Professor Seyed Mohammad Marandi, in the context of Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea simultaneously and openly challenging the U.S. empire and imperialism, and with new cracks emerging in Indo-US relations, is Asia entering a phase of power reshaping? And how will the Iranian conflict determine the future of this balance of power?
I think it's had a huge impact. I think the funeral has further strengthened Iran's position, and thus will have further impact, because the millions of people who participated in Tehran, and then a couple of million, I don't know how many in Qom, in the holy city of Qom, and then in Iraq, you had many millions of people flock to the holy cities of Najaf and Karbala, and then today the images from the holy city of Mashhad, where the funeral is ongoing. I mean, there are millions of people participating there. And all of this is unprecedented, even for Iran, which has yearly mass gatherings and rallies. This is something far beyond we've ever experienced before. And it's so big that Western media, which always downplays the gatherings in Iran. I remember a few months ago, I was in one and I gave a footage of it to Piers Morgan's producer, and she put it on the show, and Piers Morgan brought on someone to say that this is AI, and he was insisting it was all AI, helicopter footage. This was so massive, and so many journalists came from abroad, mostly alternative to media journalists, but they all witnessed this protest, so this gathering and gatherings. And this was so enormous that even the West could not hide it. And this itself will have an impact, because Iran has not just won the war and the siege warfare, and not only has it won at the negotiating table, but now the Americans can no longer deny Iran's popular legitimacy and the depth of that popular legitimacy. And countries across the world seeing that will look at Iran as even more powerful than they saw it a week ago. And the pressures between the United States and its designated adversaries are on the rise. It's not just Iran. We see the situation in Ukraine reaching a very critical point, a very, very dangerous point, something that in the West they're not really talking about, but it's, I think, becoming very dangerous. And the United States is deeply involved, contrary to what they say, that the United States is looking from afar and just making money by selling weapons to the Europeans. No, the Americans, the CIA is deeply involved in putting in a lot of money. And of course, the Europeans are betting the house. So that front is moving towards a much more dangerous situation. Our region is exactly as you see it right now. There are missiles being fired between Iran and the United States as we speak, almost literally. And the situation between the United States and China is becoming increasingly tense, because the United States is on the decline, and as a declining power, it is increasingly lashing out. So change is happening before our eyes, but the problem is that the empire is becoming increasingly dangerous, and the person who's holds the top position is himself erratic. So we could have all-out war between Iran and the United States, even though the global economic crisis is looming, a global economic crisis, and the energy crisis is upon us. And simultaneously, they're provoking Russia, and it's quite possible that the war in Ukraine will move to a new phase in the coming weeks and months. So, and these fronts are linked. Increasingly, we've seen over the past few years, Iran and Russia collaborating and cooperating, Iran helping Russia, Russia helping Iran, because they both know that they're victims of the same empire. And a defeat for Russia would be a defeat for Iran. It would be a defeat for China, and vice versa. But But I think Iran's position has been enhanced a great deal during the past 4.5 months because Russia and China, and others, but mostly Russia and China, I think we're not sure about Iran's capabilities. I mean, that's an understatement. They thought, I believe from my exchanges with friends in China and friends in Russia, and I have quite a few friends in both countries, analysts, experts who I've been in contact with and for many years. Some of them are very good friends. It was clear that they almost universally thought that Iran would collapse, both during the 12-day war, but also during this. The fact that this did not happen, but it was the complete opposite. After a week or so, people were saying, well, if Iran doesn't collapse, that is itself a victory. But it wasn't even that. It wasn't rally around the flag either. It was a victory and a defeat by the United States, which Trump began with unconditional surrender, and then he accepted the 10-point Iranian plan as the framework for negotiations. They said, oh, this is the rally around the flag effect, but look at the funeral. That was over 4 months ago. Is this a rally around the flag effect? Or is this a sincere, admiration, love being expressed by millions of people towards Ayatollah Khamenei? It's clear. Look at the outbursts of emotions. Just going to the funeral was very difficult. In the middle of summer in Iran, and in Iraq it's even hotter, and in Qom too. But in the middle of summer, it took me 3 hours just to get there. And I was in the crowd for hours under the sun, very hot, and people were wearing black, which makes it more difficult, a black for mourning. And people walked for miles, walked for many kilometers. During the funeral, to get there, they walked many miles, many kilometers. And then to get back, they walked many kilometers, many miles. So this wasn't a rally around the flag effect. This wasn't Iran surviving. This was an Islamic Republic of Iran defeating the aggressor and having a population that was united and that believed in the cause. Something that I've been saying for years, but whenever I would speak on Western media, that I'd always be called a mouthpiece or a propagandist or whatever makes them feel better. But at the end of the day, I and others like me were telling the truth, and they were either being dishonest or delusional. And even though I don't believe that the narrative in the West is going to change, I mean, I was just on ABC Australia today, and they were saying the same sort of nonsense as they always do. Nothing has changed for them. But beyond the mainstream in the West, across the world, the narrative on Iran and the resistance has changed, and that is going to itself enhance this movement across the global South to bring about a multipolar order, to decrease Western hegemony and to increase cooperation.
Thank you very much, Professor, for taking the time to share your insightful analysis with us. Thank you to our viewers for watching today's conversation. If you found the interview helpful, please don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and share the video to continue joining us in in-depth discussions on international issues. Goodbye, and see you in the next program.